Jacob Blake story, straight as we know it, right here, right now, on this episode of The Bizz.
Get funky!
All right, welcome to The Bizz. We're all up in it. I'm your boy Daniels up here in Simi Valley.
Hey, Aaron down in warm San Diego.
It is warm, but not as warm as stuff that's going on this week. It's been a hot week, man. And once again, we have an issue that has the police pitted against, a citizen, and it went south. Jacob Blake gets shot 7 times. So there's been a lot of issues. There's been outrage. NBA decided they're going to take a day off over it, and then everyone is, everyone's had their input, right? And understandably, again, the police issue is a hot button. So, and I understand where Blacks are coming from. He shouldn't have gotten shot 7 times, and I agree. But my question is, and take this with a grain of salt, I'm just being devil's advocate. In that situation, my question is, based on everything that happened, what were the cops supposed to do? So before we get to the answer to that question, let's go through what happened, right? Because everyone's like, it shouldn't have happened. Maybe it shouldn't have, but no one's actually breaking down on the air. This is what happened. This is where the cops should have responded. This is what happened. This is where the cops. And I'm not gonna say should have responded. Based on their training and protocols, what is supposed to happen? Is that fair?
Sounds fair to me.
All right, go for it. What's going on?
Cops called domestic violence issue.
All right, so what's the issue? Homeboy is arguing with his baby mama or whatever the case is.
Out front over whatever.
Okay.
Cops are called by the family.
Kids are present. His kids are present.
All 3 kids, 3 boys are present.
Okay.
In the car. I don't know their ages, but they are all there.
All right. Blake is arguing with his baby mama outside. Go.
Cops are called. I guess their job is to be peacemakers because I don't know that he's broken the law at this point.
All right. Question. Who called the cops?
Family. Either a family member that was there or the baby mama.
All right. So they're arguing. Somebody feels that the cops need to be called for whatever reason, right? No one's actually come up and said, this is why I actually called the cops. So arguing, baby's mama in street, someone calls the cops, either family member or baby's mama. Cops get there. What do they encounter?
They encounter him. It escalates. Whatever words are exchanged. At some point, the cops realize that, okay, this guy has priors. He's 2 existing warrants out for his arrest. So the cops already know that at some point, they know this isn't an angel. But at that specific moment, they're dealing with an argument, people heated. You're trying to de-escalate verbally, get people to comply, I guess, if you will, verbally. Okay. An altercation happens on the passenger side of the car. Blake breaks free from the officers and comes around to the driver's side of the car.
All right, so at this point, are they trying to arrest him?
I would assume so because there's a physical altercation. Once it gets to that level, somebody's getting in cuffs.
All right, and I want to say that I'm not really sure at this point, and I don't know if it's come out, whether or not they're already aware that he has prior warrants. Because if he has open warrants, it doesn't matter if police were called there to hand out lollipops. Once they realize that the person in front of me has an open warrant, they are required to arrest him.
The other piece of this is these officers have been to that house before.
Okay.
So he's not a stranger, random guy. They've been to this house before. So there's a good chance that they go, oh, we were out here so-and-so, a couple months ago or whatever the time frame is. We've been here before.
But we don't know that for sure.
Yes, we do. We do know that they have been to that house before.
Okay. And all right. But we don't know that that's what went through their head that day.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just trying to justify why everyone is arguing or justify why they shouldn't be. I'm just trying to make sure that all the facts are on the table so people can look at them and understand, what happened and what was supposed to happen by protocol. All right. So he's on the passenger side of the car.
He's now in the driver's side of the car. opens the door. There's 2 videos you can see clear as day. He opens the door to go in and reach for what would later be determined to be a knife. Again, it shouldn't have gotten to that. If we're going to use the story, shouldn't have gotten to that side of the car because everybody's adrenaline's pumping because of the altercation that happened on the passenger side of the car.
Right.
So he just got into an altercation with the police. The police adrenaline, their adrenaline's rushing just like his is rushing because they just got into a physical altercation. We need to put an end to this in some way, shape, or form because this guy is, he's elevated. We need to, calm the situation. Reaches for something in the driver's side of the car, proceeded to be shot 7 times in the back. If it was overkill, it probably was overkill for that particular situation, but it's one of those things where it's part of protocol. If you're reaching,
All right. And I get that. Let me back you up a second. Let me back you up a few steps back to when he's on the passenger side of the car. So he's on the passenger side of the car. There is an altercation, which he breaks free from. So at this point, the police have been called. They might be called to be peacemakers to break up whatever argument is happening. Something escalates. They get into a physical altercation with the guy on the side of the car. By this point, I would like to think that if I'm having a fight with the police, it's because they're trying to take me into custody. And if they weren't trying to take me into custody before we start fighting, now they have to because I fought with you. Now I've resisted arrest and I've assaulted one of you. So regardless of what they were called for, at this point on the passenger side of the car, he's already committed 2 crimes.
correct.
This has nothing to do with the priors that he already has, the open warrants, right?
No, this is
Okay.
that day. That day.
That is not, yes, and so I want to make sure every step is clear. All right. So he goes on the other side of the car, he opens the door, he reaches for the knife or whatever he's reaching for, and they shoot him 7 times in the back. This is where my issue is with everything. I have no issue with anything up until this point, getting shot in the back, because, if you're shooting someone in the back, then they're not facing you. That's my issue. Should he have been shot? I don't know. Was he supposed to get shot? That's my question. Not should he. Was he supposed to, based on protocol? So
Probably.
let's
Probably
analyze
was
that.
Based on protocol. But they did determine that it was a knife that he was reaching for. But if it was a pistol, if you're the police officer in the situation, are you supposed to wait for him to turn around and take aim? It's one of those.
Yeah,
here's
that's the
here's
tricky
the
part,
issue with,
right?
Yeah, here's the issue with being a cop is, you can't wait to get shot to shoot.
True.
So
True.
it's, and this is why, and again, should there be, police reform? Should we be always working on updating the way we police? Absolutely. The world changes. Everything shouldn't really be set in stone that way. There's always better training. You can always practice training, constantly rehearsing, if you will, and practicing. The other side of that is citizens being kinder, better people. All of them.
So again, everyone should be accountable for what's
correct.
Going on.
And I'm not, towards, again, an altercation with the police, it's kind of a sentence you don't want your name in ever, right?
Right.
For
so sure.
It got to that point. Was 7 times excessive? Probably, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be saying it was excessive had he shot him once, and that was enough to say, okay, I give up. I'm done.
So, and I don't know. I actually didn't see the part where he gets shot. Is that part of the video?
Yeah.
All right. So when he gets shot,
really got shot. Yeah.
He gets shot. Does he go down the first time they shoot him?
And then
he coming? I find it hard to believe, and this is my only real issue. I find it hard to believe that he gets shot 7 times in the back if it looks like he's presenting a threat. It's hard to be threatening if you're not facing the person you're threatening. That's my only issue.
Well, the threatening, remember, starts when he goes around from the passenger side to the driver's side. Where are you going? Remember, you already said before he went to this side of the car, he'd already broken 2 laws. What, you're just not going to jail today? You're not arresting me today. Not today.
Right.
Maybe,
Right.
so everybody at that point, adrenaline's pumping. We're trying to bring a guy into custody. This guy obviously doesn't want to be in custody. Who wants to go to jail?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's been in the system before. He knows what's coming. I mean, who wants, even people with priors don't want to go to jail.
All right. And his priors are kind of related to the reason why he was called, right? His priors are all domestic issues, right?
Sexual
Domestic
assault,
disturbances.
domestic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying because he's had priors he should have he was supposed to get shot, right? Because every incident is different.
Correct.
Right. All right. So I'm not suggesting.
But everything he did that day, like if you eliminate the priors, everything he did from the altercation on the passenger side of the police car to the driver's side of the police car, that was its own separate thing.
Right. And I do believe in the video you can hear people, I don't know if they're his family members or not, but there are people telling him comply.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Even the bystanders are like, you need to chill out.
All right.
The person holding the camera is yelling.
Right. Okay. So he doesn't listen. There's an altercation. He breaks 2 laws right there: resisting arrest, assault police officer. He goes around the car. He reaches, which I'm pretty sure the cops were probably like, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." I mean, if they're following protocol, that's what they're telling him, right? He does it. He gets shot 7 times in the back. He lives. He goes to the hospital. He's handcuffed to the bed. People were tripping about that too. It is my understanding, right or wrong, if you have been arrested, but you end up in the hospital, it is a standard procedure to handcuff the person to the bed. Why is everyone tripping about that?
Correct, because hospitals aren't jails. You can get up and walk out of the emergency room.
Right.
You are in custody. There's usually, a cop or a sheriff or 2 sort of babysitting you until your medical issue gets resolved, varying severity or whatever.
Right.
And it's standard protocol. Everybody's, outraged. And I'm like, keep in mind, he broke those laws and had 2 existing warrants out for his arrest. He's going to jail when he gets out of the hospital. Everybody thinks that, he's going to heal from his wounds. And hey, hopefully he heals from, he's able to walk again. They haven't really said if it's permanent or not, but he's still going to jail.
Because of the existing warrants.
And for the incident that day.
Right.
So he's going to court.
All right. So, and the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I understand that people are outraged by the incident, but I don't want people outraged because it's just a hot button about police and Black people. If you're going to be outraged, I want to make sure that we present the facts so you know why you're outraged, right?
No.
You can't be outraged about him being handcuffed to the bed because he got arrested.
Clear.
He's supposed to be handcuffed to the bed.
People don't care why they're outraged. They're just outraged. We're not. It's kind of challenging to think. Let's stop. Let's get all the facts. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. No. I'm outraged just to be outraged.
Right. All right. And some people publicly said they shouldn't have shot him 7 times. Okay, let's say he didn't get shot 7 times. Let's say those police officers just tackled him to arrest him.
You would have seen all NBA players, all these people saying police brutality. If you're trying to bring somebody in who's resisting, you need to apply some level of force.
Right.
In this case, it would have been
justifiable force.
Yes, and 4 guys holding you down, if that's what it takes, depending on the size of the guy, then that's what it takes. But visually, it doesn't look good. 4 guys on top of 1 guy.
Right. Okay. So he's resisting arrest. They should have applied some type of force. I'm not saying 7 bullets. Right. So again, my issue is that their force may have been excessive. I wasn't there. I don't know what the cops who were there and who actually fired the shots actually saw. I don't know if they saw the knife. I don't know if they saw that he pulled something out of his car. I don't know that at all. But based on what I've seen and the facts that I know, that's the only part I really have an issue with. They shot this dude in the back 7 times. Everything else, based on protocol, he was supposed to be arrested that day.
Correct.
Based on, if I'm a police officer and I show up, domestic dispute going on, we engage the person that we've been called to deal with. We get into a fight. He breaks containment. He runs around the car. He reaches for something. Based on protocol, what were the cops supposed to do? He's resisting arrest, so we have to tackle him. We have to apply some type of force, right? And again, I'm just trying to balance it out. We have to apply some type of force. So at this point, are the police officers in the wrong?
That remains to be seen. And here's what's crazy is, this guy right now is on administrative leave. Let's say they, whatever the protocol is, time passes, 2 months, 3 months, and he's back out on the streets. People are going to react.
Right. Okay.
So it'll come out pretty soon if it's going to be justified or not. But let's not forget, this guy is going to jail when he gets out of the hospital.
Right. And based on his priors and what he did that day, he's supposed to go to jail.
Correct. He's going to prison.
Based on the way the law is set up, he's supposed to go to jail, whether he was a black guy or a white guy. Based on the priors and what he did that day, he's supposed to go to jail. So him being handcuffed in the hospital is standard. That would have been anybody.
Absolutely.
All right. Come around the car, he gets shot 7 times. And that's where my issue is. I'm like 7 times, a lot. So we've asked the question, based on everything, what were the cops supposed to do? All right. So we're going to leave everybody with that question. And you decide, based on the facts that we've given you, what were the cops supposed to do? And I'm not saying the cops are right. I'm not saying they're wrong. We're presenting the facts. You decide.
If you were the cop, what would you have done?
Yes, if you were the cop, what would you have done based on the situation that transpired? And again, I'm not even sure if I have all the facts. These are just all the facts that we've been given, right? And based on those, what were the cops supposed to do? So you guys decide. You put your answers in the comments. While you're at it, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, and subscribe so we can keep coming at you. All right? We good?
We're good.
All right. Before I sign out, I just want to give one shout out. I've been honoring my man, Chadwick Boseman, who died 2 days ago on August 28th, 2020. In a crazy year. This is a dude who's going through stuff. This was a dude who, from 2016 till he passed away 2 days ago, was going through surgeries and chemotherapy in between making movies. This guy was actually going through stuff. He still smiled. He was still a law-abiding citizen. He still did things that made his family proud. This guy worked. This guy did what he had to do to get where he had to be, despite the fact that he was dealing with cancer. So I got to give a shout out to Chadwick Boseman, to his family, everyone. Prayers are up. You good?
I'm with you. Rest in peace.
Daniel's D-Money signing out from Simi Valley.
Aaron, catch you in the next one in SD.
And we out.
Bizz.